One has to grow hard, but without ever losing tenderness. The sheriff's office has not provided Denver 7 with records regarding the Mallory's dog being poisoned or other cases involving an investigation into the Mallory's poison claims. But the office did provide a record of deputies responding to a call from someone else claiming that the Mallorys poisoned their sheep. It's like lately we've been saying, okay, my dog is poisoned. They turn around and they say, well, they poisoned my sheep. It's like tit for tat, right? They poisoned our sheep. How the fuck do you poison animals? What the hell? I mean, I guess you can get like rat poison or something. I mean, I don't even know. Antifreeze, rat poison. I don't even where the hell would you get arsenic at? Poison. You know, if there's a big area of ignorance that I have, you know, to poison another, let's, I don't know what you're, with old meat that's already turned, poison with vegetables, green beans. And then animals aren't stupid. So to poison them would mean that they had to mix the poison in with their food. They're not just going to eat like something that smells, you know, or tastes nasty. So, yeah, tit for tat, you know. I mean, they gutted their pig, they poisoned their sheep, they killed their baby goat, they killed their dog, they shot that guy in the back of the head in the chicken coop. Amaya. What was his name? Antonio Amaya. We gotta get his name here. You know, Bermuda? There were black folks as slaves in Bermuda in 1616. The 1619 project's not... It doesn't go back far enough. So let's see. What do we got here? What do we got? Trying to find out where the guy's name is. So, Amia is his last name. Donaciano Amia, I think maybe. Well, no Battle of Nantwich, that's for sure. Gettysburg? That was no Battle of Nantwich. Democracy, efficiency. Serpico, Frank Phillips. Objection. Donaciano Amia. R.I.P. to Donaciano. R.I.P. to Donaciano Amia. He's a 43-year-old. I want to say with son. He's a father. 6,000 block of South Johnson Road, Rush, Colorado, eastern El Paso County, Colorado Springs. Okay. So, more of the pile of information that we're talking about the Mallorys. Good old Courtney and Nicole. Courtney and Nicole, salted the earth people. You know, Courtney was a Marine. This is how we treat the troops. This is how we treat our veterans. So, the El Paso County Sheriff's Office actually released 129 pages of records regarding the Mallorys. In one record from May 11th, 2021, the Mallorys called to report a man trespassing on their land. A deputy arrived and described the man as having a medical condition. According to the Sheriff's Office records, Nicole Mallory still requested the deputy charge the man with trespassing. The deputy decided that there was no criminal intent. That's interesting. I want to know the damn story. What the fuck is that? Is that nothing or is that something? Some fucking person fucking just talking in tongues and comes up onto your damn property? During another instance on August 11th, 2021, the sheriff's office was dispatched to the Mallory's property in regards to a situation between Nicole, a man, and his son. The man told deputies they stopped near the Mallory's property to pet a snake. What? We saw a snake and we had to pet it. Don't go around petting snakes. When Nicole yelled at them to leave, the man said they did not trespass. Nicole told the deputy the two did trespass. The man told Nicole had a gun in her vehicle and moved it to her front seat. He told deputy Nicole never pointed the gun at them. Nicole was charged with child endangerment. Our youth must always be free, discussing and exchanging ideas concerned with what is happening throughout the entire world. Che Guevara. In 1586, there is evidence that scores of Africans plundered from the Spanish were aboard a fleet under the command of Sir Francis Drake. When he arrived at Roanoke Island in 1586, that means the 1619 project doesn't need to go back to 1616 when the English had slaves in Bermuda, but the 1619 project needs to go back to 1586. Sir Francis Drake, he had plundered a Spanish ship or a Spanish fleet. So a pile of fucking ships, and they had African slaves. So Sir Francis Drake, English fucking man, right? Sir Francis Drake, that's the crown. That's motherfucking monarchy. That's monarchy shit. So it should be the 1586 project. Facebook post on September 19th, 2022 and September 23rd, 22. Deputies investigated posts made in a community Facebook group regarding the Mallorys and their property. A sheriff's office report mentioned uncovering comments about drivers deliberately driving the roads near the Mallorys' property, but the report did not address comments from screenshots provided to Denver 7 by the Mallorys that included, here's quote, this is one of their fucking neighbors. I don't know who says this, but one of their fucking neighbors, and they got a screen. I was amazed at how much property was tagged Black Lives Matter. Didn't expect that kind of in-your-face crap way out here. In-your-face crap. What's in your face is they have dark skin. Their skin is darker than yours. So you can tell. They didn't have to wave a Black Lives Matter flag for the town of fucking white supremacists to know that a black man had moved into the neighborhood. Not just moved into it, but bought the biggest piece of property. They all had 40 acres, but that's not fucking good enough for them. They want to be jealous of this guy because he's got, more acreage. Are there any restrictions on size of pitchforks and fire sticks in Colorado? Any restrictions on the size of pitchforks and fire sticks? Fire sticks. I don't know what a fire stick is. Just like a flare. Just a flare. Pitchforks, that's sort of protesty pitchforks. The deputy found no comment or post was evidently made nor indicative of third-party harassment. It was like public, right? It was on the wall. Didn't expect that kind of in-your-face crap way out here. Seems racist-y. Lynchy, racy. The most beautiful quality in being a revolutionary is being able to feel deeply any injustice committed against any person in any part of the world. As ironic as it sounds, the heart of a revolutionary is great feelings of love. The heart and soul of a revolutionary is great feelings of love and peace and freedom. Virtue. 1565. 1565, Time says that Spaniards brought other slaves with them to present-day St. Augustine, Florida in 1565. Well, shit. I mean, the English... you don't want to put slavery on just the English. The Spaniards brought the damn slavery before the English in 1565. That exonerates the English, doesn't it? See, just because... the English were involved in some of this shit doesn't mean they're involved in all the shit. And it's interesting how it all went down. You learn history for a lot of reasons. To make sure you don't repeat history, that's the biggest one. So you're not a racist piece of shit. That's another reason. So you're informed, so you can see how far we've come. 1565, the first European settlement. It was St. Augustine. So there were slaves in St. Augustine, Florida in 1565. But you know what? Florida is the third most historically racist state in the nation. They seceded third. It was South Carolina and then fucking Alabama or Mississippi, which they're both the same, basically, right? One of those two super duper fucking racist, deep South fucking states. Florida was third. Florida was the third one to secede out of this country. The third most historically racist state in the nation. Is it a big shocker that you first find the transatlantic slave trade in St. Augustine, Florida? Also St. Augustine, which would be the philosopher for Christianity. How Christian is this? But 1619 project, why not the 1565 project? You can kill the dreamer, but you can't kill the dream. You can kill the freedom fighter, but you can't kill freedom. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. Strike me down and I'll become millions, said Tupac Katari. Now, Nicole Mallory, I think, did overstep a little bit. Now, they've already charged her. She already has like 2 or 3 charges, and I'm not for sure if it was dismissed or if it ended off in a conviction. And I'm also not for sure how the process server came about. Now, you're allowed to pass legal papers to one another. April 2021, Nicole Mallory was charged with felony menacing, felony criminal impersonation, and prohibited use of a firearm. 3 fucking charges and 2 felonies. A process server had entered the Mallory's property to serve Courtney Mallory with civil papers while Nicole was allegedly home alone and showering. Police records showed Nicole yelled at the man to get off her property and fired her shotgun toward him. When she was naked, she just runs out with suds all over her body, naked, just firing her shotgun towards him. I'm wondering, how did he go to serve the fucking papers, right? You can knock on the door. I think the way that you serve papers is just common sense. You know, a part of... You don't have to have any flavor to the damn thing. You don't have to say a word. The paperwork speaks for itself. And so you knock on the door and you wait a minute. And if nobody answers the door, then you could put the, put the subpoena, put the summons, put whatever paperwork, whatever legal paperwork up on the door. Just like Martin Luther with his 71 questions or whatever, 51. So, just common sense. We have a right to pass legal papers to one another. It sucks that the federal government won't let us just put it in the fucking mailbox, but you're not allowed to do that, right? So you can post up on a post. You can post up on, some fence post outside the property. You don't even have to walk into the property. You can just post it up, nail, the papers to some post, some tiny little nail, put the papers right there where they enter and exit on their property. That's another way you could pass legal papers. You can also mail the papers. You can email them, you can call them and let them know that there's legal papers that you want to deliver. What would be the best way to get the papers to them? And so ultimately, since you're an American and you believe in the constitutional republic, then that means a process server can go up to your house, knock on the door, wait for a minute, look over here, look over there. If they see a person, hey, is, Nicole, is Courtney, right? So they're looking for the guy. Hey, is Courtney around? Oh, no, he's not. Why don't you get the hell on out of here? All right, see you later. And, as you're walking, you don't have to run. Just walk, peacefully. But kind of keep an eye, see if Courtney is around, because people fucking play stupid games. He could just be hiding off to the side. And if you see him, then you can go hand him the paper. You could also hand Nicole the paper. You could also put the paper like up on the door on some sort of nightstand. And you know what you did. And if it's a piece of paper and it's legal papers, they probably should take a look at it. You could say that you delivered the papers. They didn't do the due diligence and just look at what the paper was. They should have. And it's a legal paper. So I think, and then they walk away. So you, as a process server, have a right to walk up to the door, knock on the door, wait for I said a minute. I mean, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. You're not going to camp out there. But you could wait, for the people to hear the doorbell and, oh, there's somebody at the door. They need to, put on their... She was showering, right? So she needs to put on a towel, put on a couple articles of clothing. She needs a couple... But after a minute, it seems like you would be harassing, right? After just temporary, you're just there to... Here's a piece of paper. You have been summoned to show up for court. Okay. Thank you for delivering this legal paper. You're welcome. Have a good day. You have a better one. That would be nice, right? Police body cam footage showed this encounter. In an interview with police, Nicole Mallory said she was afraid, didn't know who the man was. She asked to file a complaint against the man for trespassing, but was charged for firing her weapon at him. Police said she gave an inconsistent statement by initially telling them she never fired her weapon. According to Colorado law, it's illegal to recklessly discharge firearms toward any person or into any dwelling or any other building or occupied structure or into any motor vehicle occupied by any person. However, the Make My Day law in Colorado grants homeowners immunity if they respond accordingly when threatened by a home invasion and burglary. Police said Nicole Mallory was charged because the man in the video footage clearly identified himself as a court person who was there to serve papers. In a March 2022 police report, police described Nicole Mallory as generally antagonistic and one of the most antagonistic people they had ever met. I mean, once you piss somebody off, right? It's like New York body camera videos. The first video from April 7, 2021 shows a process server walking past the barrier and onto the Mallory's property to serve the couple with legal papers. In the video, Nicole Mallory can be heard screaming at the server. The man runs away towards his unmarked vehicle. Unmarked. Is it a cop? He's a court person, a cop. A gunshot can be heard a few minutes later. And he's got a body camera that sounds like... This all sounds like cop shit. Why was he pretending to be just a process server when he was actually a cop? It's almost like he's like, I don't know. The server... If you're a police officer, be proud that you're a cop. Show up full regalia with your, cherries and berries in your car with a push bar and the fucking thing to protect and serve sheriff with the blue. The server said Nicole shot into the air. Nicole was charged with menacing. Okay, did she shoot into the air or did she shoot at them? Because those are two different things. The server was not charged with trespassing on private property. Gonzalez was asked about Nicole's Second Amendment rights while on her property. Brandishing a weapon is not necessarily against the law unless you use it in a threatening manner, such as firing rounds off as the person's trying to leave the property, Gonzalez said. The menacing charge against Nicole was later dismissed. It was dismissed. The menacing charge. I mean, there's, I guess, 3 charges, right? Criminal impersonation, felony, and criminal impersonation. She was pretending to be a cop? Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, I guess she's the sheriff of, Freedom Acres. Prohibited use of a firearm. Prohibited use of a firearm. So, that's good that one of the felony charges was dismissed. So the 1619 project, I think, that's a great project. I think it's a good place to start. But to think about, that's not the first place where we see slavery in history. But the 1619 project, you want to know what the 1619 project is? I got a little paragraph here. In late August 1619, you had the White Lion. This is an English privateer. Privateer, what does that mean? That's a pirate. A pirate. But if the king, he'll buy some stuff from some pirates. He don't give a damn. Criminal, terrorist, sovereign. What's the difference between them motherfuckers? They're all one and the same. So the White Lion is an English privateer, a pirate named John Jope. So John Jope is sitting there, driving the White Lion, sailing the White Lion, piloting the White Lion, sailed into Point Comfort. He drops anchor into the James River. Virginia colonist John Rolfe documented the arrival of the ship and 20 and odd Africans on board. That's, quote, 20 and odd. So John Rolfe, he's going to say, here is this White Lion, and they dropped 20 black folks off. His journal entry is immortalized in textbooks, with 1619 often used as a reference point for teaching the origins of slavery in America. Now, we've seen, that's a decent reference point. You need some reference point. It did begin, right? There were no Caucasians. There were no Africans. In America, you had a bunch of mahogany people, a lot of beautiful brown, golden, some people say redskins, red-skinned peoples. For 14,000 years, they were in the Americas. 72,000 years ago, we started wearing clothes. 50,000 years ago, African man leaves Africa. And then 14,000 years ago, African man eventually gets to America, but he's mahogany man. He had ships and he came from Asia. Maybe it was the Huns. I don't know. Believed that the first Africans brought to the colony of Virginia 400 years ago this month were the Kimbundu speaking people from the kingdom of Ndongo. Kimbundu speaking people from the kingdom of Ndongo, located in part of present-day Angola. Slave traders forced the captives to march several hundred miles to the coast aboard the San Juan Bautista, one of at least 36 transatlantic Portuguese and Spanish slave ships. The ship embarked with about 350 Africans on board. But hunger and disease took a swift toll. En route, about 150 captives died. Then, when the San Juan Bautista approached what is now Veracruz, Mexico, in the summer of 1619, it encountered two ships, the White Lion and another English privateer, the Treasure. The crew stormed the vulnerable slave ship and seized 50 to 60 of the remaining Africans. After the pair sailed for Virginia, as noted by Rolfe, when the White Lion arrived in what is now present-day Hampton, Virginia, the Africans were offloaded and bought for victuals. Governor Sir George Yeardley and head merchant Abraham Piercy acquired the majority of the captives, most of whom were kept in Jamestown, America's first permanent English settlement. So Governor Sir George Yeardley, head merchant Abraham Piercy. There you go. You want the bad guys? Do you really feel for George Yeardley and Abraham Piercy? What? That was my great-great-great-granddaddy. No one. You don't even know these fucking people. They did some crappy things, and we should know about it as a nation. Gonzalez presented another video from April 21, 2021, showing a SWAT team was present as Nicole and C.W. Mallory, Courtney Mallory, were arrested for the incident involving the process server. Nicole can be heard screaming and complaining about shoulder pain. She calls the officers pigs and uses profanity. During this incident, Nicole is charged with assault on a police officer, which she later pled guilty. Poisoned animals in Facebook post. The videos the sheriff's office presented did not address the Mallory's concerns regarding the animals being poisoned. The Mallorys said they took their dog to an animal hospital, and they found that multiple animals had been poisoned. You don't have to see the whole staircase just to take the first step. We have no right to believe that freedom can be won without struggle. If you're not prepared to die for freedom, then put freedom out of your head. Malcolm X, I don't care if I fall, as long as someone else picks up my gun and keeps on shooting. Che Guevara.